Hey YouTube. So I had a viewer request how I connected my tank to my FSC in my little project that I have here. So I thought I'd just do a short little video to kind of maybe a little more in depth than from what I've previously shown. So the ASA has a remote port, which many are unaware of. On the bottom, let me see, I got my 9.1 here to show you. So there's a large plug there. That is a 1/8 NPT plug that you can install a remote line. So you can alternately feed air in through this hole. And what you would do is close this valve, close your on-off. But something to note, if you use this port, the on-off valve does not function as an on-off valve anymore. What it functions as is actually the plug for the end of your marker. So if you have air coming in through this port and you open this valve, air goes out the back. So I recommend you run a plug in the end here if you are going to use this. The reason being is I get a little leakage even when this valve is closed. When I'm using this port, I get a little bit of air leak out the back here. So I have gone and plugged that in this particular build. But that is how I'm feeding the air into my FSC, through this remote port plug. Also, while I'm here, that smaller screw there is actually just a lock that prevents you from unthreading this on-off knob all the way out of the marker. So if you want to service the O-rings inside here, loosen and completely remove this smaller screw, and you can unthread your on-off valve all the way out, and then you kind of got to pull it a little bit because it's under a little bit of suction from the O-rings on there, and service the O-rings, oil the O-rings, replace the O-rings, whatever you're doing, and then just thread it back in and then tighten your screw down. So yeah, so this is how it looks. So I'm gonna pull it apart here. Using that port is another reason why I've added this on-off valve. This is a CP Products self-purging valve. So it is now acting as my on-off because this, as I just explained, doesn't function in that manner anymore. And in this case, I leave this open all the time. It's not necessary, but I have a plug in the rear here. So this is a 4-inch braided line that I've used, and now it's specific to this stock. So, you know, you whatever manner you choose to add a stock and do a bottle in a different variation, you may need a different hose. So 4-inch is what works with this PWR stock. This particular on-off, as I mentioned, is a CP Products, as is this one. Now this is the one I use more commonly in some of my other builds because it has a 1-inch diameter and it fits scope rings. This particular one will not fit scope rings, not even the 1.1/8 scope rings. The reason I went with this one is because of the length. So you can see this one's has a much longer overall length. So when it was installed here, the knob actually bumped into the grip here. I could still function it on and off, but I didn't like it that way. I happen to have this one, which has a much shorter profile, and it worked like a charm. The next piece of the puzzle is my stock adapter here. So I can't disassemble this because it is Loctited together. It is a Lapco 7/8 inch diameter barrel that I cut to cut to the appropriate length to accept into this stock. And you can see I drilled a hole for the lock here. So when this is all the way in, it's butted right up against. There's no adjustment. You could make adjustments. I mean, I just got to drill more holes, but in this case, I'm just keeping it one size fits all. So you can see I got to push it in with a little bit of force. So it is quite secure in there. This does not rattle, wobble, anything whatsoever. It is absolutely perfect. And I don't even know if I can get it out now without being in the marker. Oh, there we go. I got her. Okay. So what I did to do this, or the manner that I did this. So 7/8 Lapco barrel that I cut to the appropriate length, and I used a Ninja Ultralight bonnet. And in this case, I drilled and tapped to install a plug in the end here, so that this became an actual plug in the ASA, so I wouldn't have that leak that I was having. And I do have a bonnet and a barrel that I can demonstrate kind of how this works. So, oh, I should show you. So this is just a standard Lapco barrel. And the thread protectors on these, that's a 7/8 20 thread. This is a Ninja Ultralight bonnet. It is a match made in heaven. This one, oops, this one actually, oh yeah, I damaged it. I remember I damaged this one, that's why. Okay, so you can see there, it threads about halfway on, but I was pissing around trying to, prior to me knowing that this was gonna fit, I was trying an alternate method there, but you can see they thread together without issue. So that becomes my bar stock there. It works quite well. Like I said, I did have to plug it. So I'll just thread that back in there. And one of the, I mean, this was a little bit of a difficult part, was trying to get this stock area to work, but believe it or not, the biggest hiccup I had was trying to find the correct hose that would fit between the ASA and the spacing that was in this bottle. In the end, it came out to be a 4-inch braided hose. You can see it has a little bit of memory. It is really stiff to get it in that position originally, but once you actually have it fitted and it's sat for, you know, a couple of days, or I don't know, a couple hours maybe even, it's quite simple to get it back on. So I put my buttstock in, and I just kind of situate the bottle so they kind of go together like this. And while I'm pushing together, I kind of flex on this hose just a little bit here with my thumb, and you'll see, just like that, she goes together. Plenty of space here to air the marker without impeding on the magazine release or the magazine releasing. And that's about it, guys. So I hope this video helps. I'd love to see what other guys come up with. I mean, this is just one of many options. You can do anything with these hoses and fittings. I've seen a few different variations, but hey, keep them coming, guys.